In this podcast episode, Peter Boghossian shares insights from his extensive travels and conversations around the world, exploring the complexities of free speech, belief systems, tribalism, and societal challenges. The discussion covers the nature of belief, cultural taboos, the death penalty, political leadership, conflict zones, and the resilience of communities under duress. Boghossian also reflects on how people form opinions and the social pressures influencing discourse in various countries. Peter Boghossian opens with a striking observation that most people do not truly understand why they hold their beliefs, even when those beliefs are held fervently. He notes that many beliefs are grounded more in moral or ethical stances than in evidence or facts. Through his practice of Spectrum Street epistemology, he travels globally, facilitating conversations intended to help people critique and refine their thinking. He remarks on the relative ease with which basic conversational tools can improve discourse, although he admits challenges arise when engaging with very young children. His efforts include teaching critical thinking in diverse environments, including schools in the Bronx, New Zealand, and underprivileged areas of Paris, often via partnerships with nonprofits and free training sessions. Boghossian emphasizes how each country possesses its unique boundaries on what topics are acceptable for open conversation. In the United States, discussions around race and gender often provoke social costs, even when there are no official speech restrictions. Contrastingly, countries like France focus more on topics such as radical Islam, offshore territories, or crime rates, while Taiwan grapples with discourse on Chinese influence and geopolitical fears. Hungary emerges as a particularly interesting case where Peter found fewer restrictions for free speech than even in the U.S., including openness to dissenting opinions about the government and its leaders. The conversation touches on the paradox that certain subjects may be more openly criticized in some Middle Eastern countries than in Western democracies, owing to distinct cultural and political sensitivities. While legal protections for free speech exist in many nations, social and cultural pressures frequently limit open dialogue. Boghossian explains how in the U.S., powerful social costs, particularly within academia and public life, discourage people from vocalizing certain views. The fear of rejection and social ostracism is, in many cases, more intense than the fear of more tangible consequences, binding individuals to conform in thought and speech. This dynamic, he contends, complicates the practical realization of free speech ideals. The podcast hosts explore the balance between free expression and cultural sensitivity. Boghossian argues for separating people from ideas to maintain civil discourse without personal attacks. He acknowledges that not every conversation is fruitful, especially when interlocutors are unable to control emotional responses or entertain hypotheticals. He stresses kindness and charity in conversation, recognizing that individuals carry their own life struggles and biases, further complicated by indoctrination and cultural conditioning. The complexity of balancing openness and respect reflects a core tension in fostering productive conversations across diverse cultural contexts. Peter discusses zealotry as a personality disposition rather than a trait limited to specific ideologies or religions. He underscores how extreme devotion can manifest in any worldview, from veganism to political ideologies to religious belief systems. He shares a personal anecdote about losing a friend over their decision to become vegan, illustrating how zealotry can sever social bonds when moral judgments become absolutist. Tribalism is framed as an ingrained, often unconscious human tendency that can manifest both positively in family, community, and patriotism, and negatively through extreme partisanship or irrational hostilities. This tribal impulse is identified as a challenge to social cohesion and open discourse. Boghossian touches on the way history and public narratives are often sanitized or distorted, which shapes the beliefs held by society. He cites the example of how many people are unaware that Barack Obama initially opposed gay marriage in his first term, a fact often obscured in mainstream recounting. This demonstrates how collective memory can be shaped to fit prevailing cultural narratives, influencing individuals' epistemologies and making critical thinking more difficult. A significant portion of the conversation addresses Boghossian's evolving views on the death penalty. He expresses a pragmatic stance, supporting capital punishment in extremely narrow and clear-cut instances, such as mass shootings or unequivocal multiple homicides. He reflects on the moral tension between the state taking life and protecting innocent lives from heinous criminals. The discussion includes concerns about slippery slopes, wrongful convictions, and the challenge of balancing justice with mercy. Boghossian draws on examples from El Salvador, where harsh policies significantly reduced homicide rates by incarcerating tens of thousands, noting that while controversial, such measures have tangible benefits in public safety. Boghossian praises Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele as an example of a courageous, competent, patriotic, and benevolent leader. He admires Bukele's pragmatism, including pioneering the use of Bitcoin as legal tender and enacting tough policies to dismantle violent gangs. While acknowledging criticisms of authoritarian tendencies, Boghossian views Bukele's leadership as vital for the safety and flourishing of Salvadorans, spotlighting the complexity of governance when idealism conflicts with urgent realities. He also discusses the political structure, including term limits and recent moves to extend presidential power, noting the challenges of balancing democracy with effective governance. On geopolitics, Boghossian shares a measured but humanist perspective on current conflicts such as Iran's war and the broader Middle East tensions. Living in the UAE, a country affected by missile and drone attacks, he emphasizes the personal toll and stresses on innocent civilians. While not claiming deep expertise on the regional complexities, he underscores a consistent moral opposition to the loss of innocent life, regardless of nationality or background. He marvels at the UAE's advanced defense systems and the community's resilience, which contrasts with stereotypical perceptions of the region as a playground for the wealthy, revealing a more grounded and pragmatic society. The episode concludes with reflections on the challenges of introducing controversial or speculative topics in educational settings. Peter recounts an instance where a school principal removed a seemingly innocuous discussion claim, "aliens exist," due to conservative parental concerns, highlighting how even benign curiosities can become contentious in certain contexts. This episode illustrates broader tensions around faith, belief, and openness in schools and society. The hosts debate the capacity of educational institutions and communities to engage with complex ideas honestly while navigating diverse cultural and religious sensitivities.